Jackie. So firstly, I'll try to answer those questions that were directed to the chamber. In response to the vehicle question on vehicles, what I can say for now is that if you're purchasing a vehicle from a bona fide authorized reseller or a vehicle dealer locally, I think what I would say is each reseller, each merchant would have a warranty in place. I'm not saying all warranties are the same, and I think as a buyer, one of the first questions you should ask when you're purchasing a vehicle, it's a major investment, is what is the warranty on this vehicle? Also, if you're purchasing locally from a dealer, again, you have certain rights in your document when you purchase. It gives you all of your schedule of tune-ups, free tune-ups for the first 3, I believe, and so forth. So I think for the chamber, I can't sit here to say that we can do anything particularly helpful, but we certainly will ask you, the caller, you are more than welcome to bring concerns to the chamber. We are on Horsfords Road. Our phone number is 465-2980. Andrew Satney is our director, executive director. He's always willing to listen and to take any comments, and we can see if we can bring you any feedback. If that dealer is actually a member of our chamber, we certainly can bring them the matter to them. Once you have all the necessary information and facts, which are pretty straight, so we'll need you to do that. So that is welcome. I don't have any more information for you that I can help you on the vehicle issue. Secondly, on price concerns in the supermarkets, yes, we have been hearing of those concerns. Yes, we are consumers ourselves, and we do see an increase. I will admit to that, yes. Some people call it price gouging, and price gouging is a real term. It's actually usually occurs during natural disasters when the seller increases the price of the product or the service or the goods to a level much higher than what is normally acceptable or you're used to, and that is because there is a demand and a supply shock. And COVID is a very real example. But what I will now ask is, because this matter keeps reiterating and coming up at certain forums and questions that are really warranted, I think I will call on the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, the Department of Consumer Affairs, to probably do an exercise of a basket of goods, probably 10 to 15 items, and compare to go around to various supermarkets and do price checking back to, say, early January or last year sometime, and see what those look like, those comparatives are, and send us a report at the chamber, and then the chamber can then move on that. Once the chamber has the necessary data, we can't actually go into these places and do that exercise, because we will be seen as a conflict of interest, because many of these supermarkets and shops or groceries are our members. So we ask that can be done, and then from there we can take that information and we can act on it, and then move at the board level on a matter of that significance. So we do encourage that. Secondly, OTI, that was a question directed to me on the price of OTI. Now that's $500. I have to agree with the Prime Minister. I've heard him several times speak to that price. That is $35 US per night in a hotel, a decent hotel at that. And the government is already subsidizing the other costs, including the security for 24-hour security there, and other costs that they have to bear in terms of the manpower. I can't speak to the cost that OTI has to bear, the operational expenses of having someone in that room. You have internet access included. You have the use of, I think, a microwave to warm your food, so there's some cost there. But I will certainly raise it with my director, who sits on the Chamber's board, and it's a matter that we can raise, but as a question, but it is already, to be honest, a fair price if you compare to what hotels really cost at that level. I believe I read somewhere recently, the Prime Minister, I might be You may have to correct me, sir. But I believe I read recently that there are some considerations being given in terms of allowing people like a possible payment plan if they're really struggling. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, if they're really struggling, that there are ways that they might be able to assist you in that regard. So, and then for the farmers, we sit on the agriculture marketing committee, and I think recently you've seen, and in fisheries, RAMS with a new thrust to sell local fish, and we are trying to push the other members in that regard. But in terms of the farming and the produce, what I understand is that, and we've learned this since being on the agriculture marketing. I don't sit personally on the committee, but we have two members, and Andrew who sits on that. But market research, lack of market research. We need the farmers to do more market research with the supermarkets. Find out what do they really need, what is the high turnover produce. You know, what if it's peppers, we don't want every farmer, you know, growing peppers. It needs to be diversified because these supermarkets are price sensitive. These are perishables, so they're not going to purchase, you know, an overstock on an item that the margin on that is competitive. So they're not going to overstock. So what we understand is that there needs to be more market research in that regard to see what is it these grocers and these supermarkets really need and what is the demand for, and then you produce accordingly. I think the engagement came after the seedlings, you know, the sowing was done, and so this is a conversation going forward that we have to correct. But now we sit on that committee. I think it's great, and we can only improve going forward in making sure that now that you don't have the hotels, there will be, you do need the supermarkets to take up a lot of that produce that you do have. And so we are encouraging that, and we're hoping to move forward. I want to just touch on the fisheries there for a moment with the recent food poisoning, the fish poisoning, sorry, that we would like, I think, some more information as to what type of fish was causing that poisoning, because we're concerned at the chamber about the fishermen who have just had a new thrust, you know, and assistance from government in terms of subsidies in helping the fishermen to get out there, that we don't want this to cause some retraction. So maybe if we could find out what type of fish, and people can get back to eating fish. We have safe waters for fishing. We have always had safe waters, and I know investigation is taking place on that, so we can move ahead and get the fishermen back up to speed in that regard. In closing, I think I'd just like to say to the Prime Minister that we'd like to thank the addition of the second VAT day that he's announced today. I smile because it was a request we had on Friday's collaborative process, and so thank you for that. I believe all the businesses and the community in general, everyone, and Mr. Samuel and his task force and the CMO will be very happy about that to mitigate a lot of the social distancing protocols. The Chamber embarked on a buy local campaign just several months ago, September, and many of you may have heard it on the radio, including here at ZIZ, and we plan to have a remerge of that buy local campaign in encouraging purchasing locally across the board. Money stays in the economy, it circulates, provides employment, better taxes for the government, and better profits for local companies. Everybody benefits. So we will be running that again. We know the big giant with the smiley face, Amazon, is out there, and he's very easy to access. But at the same time, you know, please always consider local first. Try to negotiate pricing, maybe a discount. Pricing is not that bad when you do your comparatives and do your multiplication factors on imports. I think we are quite competitive. So I'd like to encourage that. I would like to announce to the general public and to this forum that the Chamber is launching a private sector liaison committee. And I believe that this will help to answer some of the questions that one of the callers had earlier. And we hope that we could help in that. And it's really it would be a group of stakeholders that will come together under the Chamber's umbrella. And we are currently setting the framework in place for that committee. And we hope to have that in place within the next few weeks, because it's a lot of background work that has to go into the terms of reference for that committee and how it would function. But it's to bridge, to provide a bridge between the private sector and the government, in particular the National Task Force, and will act as a conduit for effective communication between the two sectors. And this would help to expedite a consultative process, which is necessary for the rapid sharing of information as we seek to continue to reopen. And what we feel with this, caller earlier spoke on some frustrations, but there's so much happening that has to be done in reopening an economy. We feel we can be helpful rather than, Mr. Samuel likes to use the term, be part of the solution, not the problem. So we want to be part of the solution. And I believe and hope that these areas that we can assist in even document preparation and assisting with a seamless process as we move forward to continue to reopen responsibly and in a manageable process. Before I close, I just want to say and ask the public and the business community, in particular members of the chamber and non-members, but even more those who are members, you have a right and a responsibility to uphold those protocols and guidelines set forth during this pandemic. We're reopening. We are asking you to safeguard your employees, your associates, your customers, your friends, anyone who comes into your establishment. You have a responsibility, and you need to keep mindful that any exposure in your location, you could be infecting yourself and others around you. Please, masks are a must, and enforce all protocols in the restaurants, every sector. We are asking you again to please, if you have any questions, you can reach the chamber at 465-2980. We're happy to take any calls and answer any of your questions, member or not. We are open to your questions and any concerns. You can reach us on Facebook, sknchamber.com. Please like our page, and we are constantly doing updates. And I'd like to thank everyone for this evening, to be here with you this evening, and for Jackie for sitting in so nicely in your role. Thank you.